So I'm here in Articulate Storyline, and I'm going to show you how to use their built-in translation feature. Now, unfortunately, they have not published pricing, so I don't know how much this costs. I'm going to guess, since they're not publishing it, it's kind of expensive. And as slick and convenient as it is, I believe they probably are going to charge a lot for that, because a lot of people are going to want this and are going to pay the money because it is so convenient. If you've ever done the XLIF translations where you've got to export and go do something and then import and you have all these different files, you're going to see just how easy this is to do. Now, you can get a free trial as of right now, so you should check that out. Okay, so you have your file, and let me just pause for a moment. I always like to point this out because it's so important. Most e-learning courses are built at a level 2 and 3, at least most that I work on are. And so this means that learners are able to read the content, see the content, and hear the content. That means when you perform a translation, the person with it in the new language also needs to be able to read it, to see it, and to hear it in their language. And that does make for some complications, because the translation feature I'm going to show you right now is only going to handle the reading it portion, which is your typical XLIF translation. As always, this is not new information, but if you're new to translation, it might be a surprise to you. I do have other videos coming out that's going to show you how to handle the audio and the graphics and the videos if that's a problem for you. Okay, so I've got this course. Basically, to translate, you just go to File, Localization, Translate Course. It is that easy. Now, I've already translated this to a few other languages earlier as I was testing it out. I'm going to choose Spanish, if I can find it. How about French? You can choose multiple languages, and you can choose the formality of the language. Now, I just choose automatic, but if it's a very formal, serious thing, you could, inform the AI bot that's performing this translation that it is very formal, or you could say informal. I just leave it at automatic. And then you just select translate. And any of those languages that you've selected, they will all be translated within moments. Okay. It's been translated into one language. Now, in Storyline, because it is a fixed size, which is different from in Rise. In Rise, the blocks can expand easily, but in Storyline, they're very fixed. There could be layout issues when the language is changed, and, it could take up more space. It identifies these problems as a layout issue and lets you know about it. So we're going to go ahead and take a look at these layout issues. You're going to get a panel like this, and it tells you here that scroll bars have been added, which, those scroll bars don't usually look very good. So we're probably going to go fix that here shortly. And it's affecting 2 languages. So it tells you which languages. So when you click on it, it will tell you which ones it is. So let's say scene 1.1. So this very first page is having a problem. So we're going to just deal with that. You see here how it's got the scroll bar? Yeah, I'm not liking that. Oh, wow. Okay. So let me review what I just did. I wasn't talking through that. I went to Format Shape. I went to Text Box. And you see how I had it selected Do Not Auto Fit. So it's not going to change that. Because sometimes if that text is larger, it's going to cover over an image or something and look even worse than a scroll bar. But what I've said here is to shrink text on overflow. So that's going to be something to think about as you're building them. If you know you're going to translate them in the future, you might want to choose the shrink text or to resize the shape to fit text if it's okay, if there's room for that overflow. Okay, so that is fixed. Now, if I need to go look at another language, you'll notice that that drop down is right here. And so this gives me all of my languages. So within one file, I can work on all of my languages. You're not dealing with all these separate files. The other nice thing is when this is exported as a SCORM file, the learner will be able to choose their language. So all the learners go to the same place, the same file, and they choose their language. Also, I thought it was interesting with the tracking of the course progress, that is tracked as a whole, not per language. So for example, if someone started the course in English and then changed to Spanish and then went back to English at the end, all of that progress counts. It doesn't matter what language it's done in, it all counts. I thought that was pretty interesting. Now the other thing is, when you're editing your English version, you can make updates here and then have that pushed out to languages. So translating courses in Storyline. So let's say I've got changes now. So how am I going to deal with that? Because I need that change updated in all of my languages. You'll go to File, Localization, Source Language Changes Found. So any changes you make in your source language, your main language, your original file, those changes can be pushed out to the other courses. Changes you make to each language are not going to be pushed out. If you make text changes, you cannot apply those to other languages. The only changes can be from that main source language. So you can see here, it says they found changes. And so you would just do update translations. It's that simple. Boom, it updates all of them. Okay. Now, also with that layout issue, how do you get back to that? That layout panel, you'll go to File, Localization, and Layout Issue Finder. So we want to look at this and just see if I fixed some of these. So I'm still getting scroll bars on 1.1. I think that's because of the new change I made. Let's jump into that language and see, I added more words there, but so let's do this. Nope. Okay, so what I'm going to do is change the formatting to resize. And that's still not helping. I thought it was going to shrink it. Oh, there we go. Why is it? That's weird. When I click in and out, I don't know what that means. I don't know why it's changing when I'm clicking into it. I find that to be rather odd, but anyway, there I fixed it up just like that. Okay, now also up here, language validation. This is for getting review links to validators so they can confirm that the languages, make sense. I'm going to show you that here in just a minute. Let me just make sure there's nothing else here. Let's see what happens if we choose these. Okay, so here you can publish just a language. So let's say you don't want all your languages in one SCORM file. That's okay. You can publish them independent of each other. You can also save them as a new file. Excuse me. So if I want my French file as truly a separate file, I could do that. And I can also remove languages if I want. Okay, so now I'm going to show you how to get this to review. So anytime you publish, of course, we're going to name it here, translations for Storyline. You can choose which languages. So if you don't want all the languages, you could publish these each individually if you wanted. But we're going to go ahead and keep all of those, and I'm going to go ahead and publish this to review 360 so you can see what that looks like. So that is going to take a moment. And then what we're going to do is I'm going to email someone who's my validator. We're going to pretend like they are the French speaker who knows how to read French and can make corrections, because the translation process might have weird words, or maybe they've missed context and it doesn't make sense. So someone who knows French will go through and make changes. And this is a seamless, wonderful, easy way to make corrections. It's for large companies that are doing a lot of translations. I mean, this is like total game changer. The other thing is that it also translates subtitles. You probably know that in the past on an XLIF translation, that's only text boxes. And then your subtitles had to be translated separately. With the Articulate suite in Storyline and in Rise, it also translates the subtitles, which is actually really, really impressive. In fact, I have a little diagram here that will show you the old way with XLIF, a translation, it only did the on-screen text. But with Storyline now, it's also doing the captions. So you get these two tasks, translation tasks, done in one way. That's really nice. Now, for the audio and the video and any attachments, that still has to be handled separately, which I'm going to cover that in another video. So make sure you subscribe to the channel, like my video, and blah, 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 blah. I'm just going to stop the video here and wait for this to get done, and then I'll be back. Okay, so it says my translated courses are now available. And we're going to view this project. Okay, so when you publish the course with all of the languages in one file on one link, you're going to get this course stack over here, and it pops in and out, and that's where you choose your language. So the source language is always separated, and then all the child languages it's been translated to are then down below. When you click on a language, you still have your old comments option, and you also have this translation tab now. So let's say we're going to send this to someone who speaks French, and we want them to review this and make corrections. So we're going to email them, you know, hey, please make these changes. And they're going to get an email. And so this is my mailinator box. It's just a fake temporary email that I've sent it to. This is what their email is going to look like. Okay, it's at, you know, Mind Garden has requested your review. And they do not need an account. They just have to click this link. It doesn't matter who they are, what email this is, and they can go. And then now they can either make just general comments, or they can actually make translations. So look at this.
In this course, you will learn how to translate courses within Storyline. All course text will be translating, including subtitles and the player. Attachments, burned in text on images, or audio narration will not be translated. This is important to know.
I didn't put the
there are
seek bar.
alternatives that can handle those translations.
There, clicked on it. So this is how this will work. Now, when they add a change and they change something, they can see how this actually is going to look on screen. This is important, so they know like something else has to happen here. This is bad. Okay, let's go look at...
To handle the audio narration, you have two options, audio dubbing or audio generation.
Oh, I can't pause this. Okay. So, I can say, you know, they say they want to change these words. They're seeing how that looks on screen. That's very important. Now, when they're done, they say, okay, I checked slide 1, 2. Go to the next
Dubbing
one.
is when you use your
perfect.
original file
This all
as
looks
either
good.
an MP3 or MP4
accept that.
and have that same voice and speaking speed translated and reproduced in a new language.
Now
this will preserve the original voice and the
haven't
timing
dealt with
of the
yet.
audio,
I'm new to this.
which is great if
These
you've already
are
timed out
the
objects,
subtitles.
but this means the voice might speed up and slow down in strange ways. Some software that can accomplish this is 11 Labs, Synthesia, and Descript.
So that's why there's so much text on ones that there's not that much text. You're also getting the subtitles in there. Okay, let's try.
Audio generation is when you take the original audio script and translate the text. Then use the text to generate the new voice in a new language. This means you can choose a new voice, but the timing will not align with objects you've timed to the original language, so you will need to resync them.
And then how are you going to know what changes they made? How are you ever going to figure this out? Well, you're going to go back to your original file. You're going to go to File, Localization, Language Validation. You can see there's the number 2 here, and it's saying, hey, there's changes. And so you can either go view what they changed on the review link, or you can just say, yeah, import them. And then you get the import. Now, if there's new layout issues, you're going to be reported of those. So it's saying, hey, there's more layout issues. You need to go fix those because it's making things look weird. Let's go look at Hindu. This is 1.2. Get rid of that. And you can see here there's 2 scroll bars here. So that's a problem. We don't want scroll bars. We don't like that. I'm going to shrink that. You got to drag the text box down. So anyway, see how it won't let me drag the text box down? I have to go to Format, choose Shrink, and then I can drag it. So anyway, that's how you fix your layout issues, and that's how you import changes. It is incredibly easy to do. It's amazing. And in another video, I'm going to show you how to handle the audio and video and attachments.